Good morning, Mark. We've got a light snow coming down, but not too bad. But I'm telling you, this is going to be your best friend today, your snow scraper. This snow is heavy, it's wet. We now know a neighbor called an SRS abuse hotline in January to report hearing screams from a child and an adult male inside the home. But that call was never reported to the local SRS office. Today, also coming up in this half hour, former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin is coming to Wichita. Yeah. We knew she was coming to Salina this Friday. But now there's another event that she'll be taking part in. Also, a Waterwalk Hotel is going to be developed now that City Council has approved those plans. Speed is an issue at this intersection, but so is the sun. At this time of the day, it can get in your way. To show you how close this shooting came to harming one of those officers, take a look. One of the bullets landed just a few feet above their heads. This particular tornado has been on the ground for about 10 minutes now. As you can see towards the base of it, there is some debris starting to kick up. Finally, the time came. He jumped from 7,500 feet in the air. That's the good news out here. As you mentioned, the temperatures aren't too bad. There's no wind really to speak of. And it's really pretty. Take a look at this tree. I mean, as you can see, the snow is really sticking to everything really nicely. Here's where we run into some bad news, because as you come over here, the streets, the roads, especially side streets, are snow-packed. But if you get down, this is really slushy kind of out here, a little wet out there. And as Mark mentioned, we've reached our high for the day. So as it gets colder, that's the stuff I'm worried about. That's going to refreeze out there and cause some trouble spots for drivers.
Sheriff's Department, come to the door.
If this knock ever comes to your door, open it.
Listen up, man. You got to come to the door. We're going to have to break this door, and it's a nice door.
Because if you don't and try to hide inside,
let's do it.
Expect a visit from Rommel.
Hey, dog's coming in.
That's what finally got this suspected felon back behind bars. He's got an active felony warrant out of Cowley County, and today is a roundup.
I don't normally have this many officers to utilize to do this type of operations. An operation like this alone would have used up all of my guys on one deal. We still have people at other houses arresting other people.
This operation is part of an annual nationwide warrant sweep that targets domestic violence offenders. But sometimes these arrests uncover additional crimes.
You need to smell this. Wow.
That's what happened at this North Wichita home. Officers found a major marijuana grow house when they busted a guy on a simple city bench warrant.
We've so far taken over 100 plants, marijuana plants, out of the house, and the supporting equipment that would go along with that.
But this roundup won't find everyone. Right now in Sedgwick County, there are more than 11,000 active warrants.
Thousands.
This is just going to scratch the surface today, but it's got to help.
It scratches the surface, and hopefully what it lets people know also is if you're wanted, you can turn yourself in.
If you do that, you won't get this unwelcome visit during the next warrant sweep.
This is Kansas Today on KSN.
Road crews were ready and waiting for this snowstorm. We'll tell you what to expect on your commute to work this morning. Plus, voluntary manslaughter is off the table for Scott Roeder as closing arguments are set to begin in his murder trial later today. Good morning, I'm Anne Meyer. Mark Davidson will be in later today to help out with sports. But of course, the weather is going to be the big story today. And I know a lot of you are just getting up and getting ready for work. Let's get you over to the weather lab. Mark Bogner has the latest on your up-to-the-minute forecast. Mark?
We'll have more details coming up.
All right, Mark, thanks. Well, that winter weather he was talking about means many Kansas kids are getting a snow day today. Now, for a complete list of cancellations, just look at the bottom of your screen. We'll keep those updated throughout the morning. But for those of you getting ready for work, get ready to deal with some bad road conditions. KSN's Anthony Powell has been watching those live for us today. Anthony, getting any better out there?
And pretty much status quo out here. Back to you.
And Anthony, I think we were lucky. No one was really on the roads when we came to work this morning. And as traffic increases, that might get a little worse out there for folks.
Very true.
We'll check back with you later. Thanks,
okay,
Anthony.
Thank you.
New this morning, fire investigators are still on the scene of a fatal apartment fire. It was reported just before 5 this morning in the 2700 block of South Topeka. That's the Riverwalk Apartments. Now we know several apartments have been evacuated there. We do have a crew on scene, and we will bring you more information as it becomes available. Well, weather permitting, the Scott Roeder murder trial will be in the hands of the jury today. Roeder took the stand yesterday as the defense's only witness. Roeder unapologetically told the jury how he killed George Tiller inside his Wichita church. He even described how he had planned to commit the crime for years because he wanted to protect unborn babies.
From conception forward, it is murder.
Well, after Roeder's testimony, the judge ruled that voluntary manslaughter would not be an option for the jury to consider. Closing arguments are scheduled to begin at 9 this morning. After that, the jury will begin deliberations, but that's of course if the courthouse doesn't close due to weather. A western Kansas man is dead after setting himself on fire. It happened Wednesday outside a fur store in downtown Portland, Oregon. Apparently, 26-year-old Daniel Shaw of Dodge City doused himself in gasoline and then started himself on fire. Shaw's father says his son suffered from mental illness and had only been in Portland for less than a week. A woman is in critical condition following a bad accident near Colwich. It happened around 4:30 yesterday afternoon on K96 near 151st Street West. Troopers say a truck merging onto the highway struck the oncoming car and pinned the victim inside her vehicle. Wichita police hope students will help fight crime by texting. Crime Stopper officers got together with students at South High to introduce a new system called Speak Up. It gives students, staff, and parents the ability to send anonymous crime tips by texting or logging on to a secure website. The Wichita Police Department also announced a big promotion yesterday. Lieutenant Russell Leeds is now a captain and will take over the Patrol West Bureau next week. Leeds has been with the department for 22 years. All right, before you head out to work this morning, make sure you have a heavy coat, a scraper for your car, and I can't think of anything else. Mark, let's get you over to the weather lab. He's got a look at your up-to-date forecast.